Hey guys, I want to talk to you about spending guilt. What is spending guilt? Why do I have spending guilt right now? I will tell you. Before we get started, if you're new here, my name is Allison with Baby Stepping to Freedom, and I talk to you all about the money. And today I'm talking about guilt when spending money. So this is kind of like a new thing for us of having this like feeling of spending guilt, of like, oh, I feel guilty that I spent money. We've gone through multiple phases in life of like how we spend our money. Really, we went from being students who made no money to being newly working adults who made a lot of money and spent a lot of money, then realizing, whoa, we spent a lot of money that we probably shouldn't have spent. Now, how do we fix that? And then the last stage we were in was fixing that through not spending any money and being as frugal as possible, cutting out as many expenses as we could, and just having as little expenses as possible. So now we're transitioning into a new phase. We're like butterflies emerging from the cocoon of not spending money to now trying to find this happy medium of continuing to be frugal, but also living our life a little bit and learning how to enjoy our money. What we're learning is the mindset that we kind of got ourselves into during our debt-free journey is hard to transition out of. I guess I hesitate to say transition out of because we're still trying to stay in that mindset of living on less than we make, but also trying to learn how to enjoy our money without feeling guilty about it is hard. This is a new balance for us where we have this newly freed up money, also continuing to stay frugal and save money and make responsible financial decisions, but like, where is the balance? So finding the balance of those two things has been really hard for us. We're 6-7-ish months into our debt freedom, and we are still like right here trying to balance that. So what we're learning is we kind of go through waves of spending where it's like, oh, we're not spending very much, we're doing good, we're saving a lot of money, and then something comes up and we're like, ooh, we're just spending a lot of money, and then it's like, ooh, we need to stop spending money, and so we save a little bit. So we're just like going through these phases, and what I'm realizing is it's like during certain times where they're kind of like high spending months versus low spending months, and that changes a lot, and a lot of things come up, and we have to figure out how to happily spend our money in a reasonable way so we don't feel bad about it. And that's what we're learning, because right now we still kind of feel bad about spending money, and we're trying to get through that. So that's what I'm calling that spending guilt of like, ooh, we shouldn't be spending money, but wait, we have the money, we've worked really hard, so like where's this like balance of like doing things that we want to do and still saving money and being okay with it. So I've mentioned in some past videos that we have had some pretty heavy spending months the past couple months, and we have struggled to save money. Well, struggling to save money isn't really the right way to say it. We just haven't saved money because we've spent our money on other things. We had car issues, we had a garden that we built, our cat had health issues that cost us a lot of money. I had a birthday party that I just wanted to have that cost a lot of money. And so we've kind of been through this, like, speaking of ups and downs, like this like long time of a lot of money spent. And so now we're trying to get over that and get back to spending money. And we're looking back and we're like, ooh, should we have spent the money that we spent? Are we okay with this? And so we're kind of learning how to get over this spending guilt where it's what's done is done. So how do we feel about that? Did we make the right choices? And trying to move on from it and feel okay with it, I guess. So the first thing that we're doing in learning how to get over this spending guilt is to step back and reevaluate our goals. So, okay, what are we actually working towards? what are our long-term goals, what are our plans financially that we are trying to accomplish, and reminding ourselves of that, because sometimes we can get kind of caught up in spending money and forgetting the big goal and what we're actually trying to work towards. So step one is like, okay, remember self. This is what I want. All of these other things we might want right now, but long term, what do we want? So goals, remember. Next is fine-tuning our budget to just make sure that we haven't let like little expenses creep back in. So one thing that we did when we started our debt-free journey was to get rid of all the little things that we didn't really need, cut down our budget as much as possible. And what we've realized is, as we've found this balance in our debt freedom, we have started letting little things, little expenses creep back in, like a little subscription here, a little extra money there. And so going back and really looking at our budget with fresh eyes. Okay, remember our goals, fresh eyes. Let's look at our budget and figure out what really we need to be spending our money on and what we shouldn't be spending our money on. And the last thing that we have been working on to get over the spending guilt is reflecting on how far we've come, not dwelling on things that maybe we would do differently or that we regret, and just moving forward. Like, we have made a lot of progress in the past 3 years in our finances, and that's what matters. What matters is the progress that we've made. The ability to just like feel guilty about spending money is actually huge for us, because in the past we were just spending money, we didn't even feel guilty about it. So the fact that we've gained the perspective to think about the money that we have spent and trying to decide what makes sense and what doesn't make sense, that in itself is progress for us. So reflecting on how far we've come and not dwelling on little things that make us feel bad is the final step in our getting over spending guilt. So if you are in the same boat with me and you have some spending guilt, you maybe spent money on something that you kind of regret, or you're not sure if you should have spent money on things, just try and keep those 3 things in your mind. Think about your goals, fine-tune your budget, and reflect on how far you've come, because that really helps kind of ground you and make you realize where you're at and what you're working towards, those 3 things. If you do something that is different than what I do to get over spending guilt, leave me a comment down below and let me know what you do to help you get over spending guilt, because even with those 3 things, sometimes I still struggle with it. They sound great, they sound easy, but like I still struggle with it. So let me know what you do. Might help me out, might help others out. While you're down there, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything new coming out, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.